Today, we're looking at almost 1,200 acres for $5.7 million in Texas, and we have 30 minutes on the clock to decide whether it's a good buy or not. So, Erica, let's get into it.
Well, Texas is a big state, so let's look at where we are.
Where we are in Texas, yes. Where are we?
So we are just outside of Fort Worth, Dallas.
Okay.
Right smack in the center of Texas.
Smack in the center. All right. This is, what town is this?
So the address says Cisco.
Cisco? Oh, as in the company Cisco? Okay.
Mm-hmm. All right, shall we look at photos?
Yeah. Juniper, what can you tell us about Cisco, Texas?
Pretty.
These are nice photos.
Yeah.
They get the drone guy out.
So Cisco, Texas is a small town in Eastland County, right where US Highway 183 and Interstate 20 meet. It's got a population of about 3,800 people. The town really grew after the railroad came through in the 1880s, and it's also famous as the place where Conrad Hilton bought his very first hotel, which kicked the Hilton Hotels chain. There's some neat local history, like a famous 1927 bank robbery, and you can visit spots like the old Mobley Hotel or head out to Lake Cisco for some outdoor fun.
1927 bank robbery?
Tell us more about that. I think we
Should
need
I
to
get into it?
Yeah, let's hear that story.
Rabbit hole?
Yeah.
Juniper, tell us about the famous 1927 bank robbery.
There are structures on the lot, by the way.
So the 1927 bank robbery in Cisco is actually pretty well known in Texas history. It was led by a guy named Marshall Ratliff, who dressed up as Santa Claus to try to rob the First National Bank in Cisco just before Christmas. It ended up turning into a huge shootout manhunt because the townspeople and law enforcement got involved. Unfortunately, it led to some tragic outcomes, but it also became a legendary story in the area. So yeah, that's the famous Cisco bank robbery in a nutshell.
Well, so he dressed up in Santa Claus? What? That is nuts. That's so nuts. Wait, what was the thought process behind dressing up in Santa Claus?
Well, the idea behind dressing up as Santa Claus was basically to use a disguise that would seem friendly and unthreatening, especially around Christmas. Ratliff figured that if he walked into the bank dressed as Santa, people would be less suspicious and he might catch them off guard. It was kind of a twisted plan to blend in with the holiday cheer and not alarm anyone at first glance. Of course, it didn't go as he hoped, but that was the thought process behind the costume.
Why is it famous?
Because of the Santa Claus outfit. Why is it famous?
It's famous mainly because it turned into such a dramatic and chaotic event that's stuck in local history. It wasn't just a straightforward robbery. It escalated into a huge shootout between the robbers and the townspeople and law enforcement. It also led to a big manhunt afterward. So it kind of became legendary in Texas crime history. And the fact that the lead robber dressed as Santa Claus just made it all the more memorable and unusual. It's one of those stories that got passed down over time and became a notable piece of local lore.
87 photos. All right. So what did we find? So there's hunting on the lot?
Yeah, they have deer feeders.
Deer feeder, now that we know.
Yep.
After we got chastised. Chastised, I said. People didn't like the fact that we didn't know what a deer feeder looked like.
Yeah.
They don't know where.
Well, we should.
We're city people.
There's
no deer in the city, Erica.
There are.
No, there isn't.
Depends on the city.
Depends on the city. Yeah, that's true. So it has a structure.
It looked like from the photos there are like two smaller homes or cabins, but let's see what the description says.
Okay. Well, before description, what's your favorite part?
What's my favorite part?
Tags. Remember you used to love tags?
Yes.
You forgot.
I forgot.
After I teased you and you're like, all right, fine, I'll just skip over tags. So 2 gas wells. Gas wells?
Interesting. We'll have to see how that impacts valuation.
That's usually it's a water well.
For natural gas.
Well? You call it a well? Mm-hmm. How do you get it out?
I don't know the exact mechanics, but you assume you pump it out.
Juniper, explain what a gas well is in Cisco, Texas.
Sure. In Cisco, Texas, a gas well is basically a well that's drilled into the ground specifically to extract natural gas from underground reservoirs. Cisco, like many parts of Texas, is in a region where there are deposits of oil and natural gas beneath the surface. So these wells are drilled to tap into those resources. Once a well is set up and producing, the natural gas can be brought up to the surface and then processed and sent on for use as energy. So in short, it's just a well that's all about getting natural gas out of the ground, and Cisco has some of those because of the geology of the area.
Wait, so it's on the property as in they're extracting it
Yeah.
and selling it?
Yeah, it's not. We'd have to look at the description, whether they're extracting it and selling it or there's a lease.
There's like a lease
Yeah.
situation. Juniper, if it's a large property, can you extract natural gas just to use it on the property, or usually you would like sell it to someone else?
Yeah, that's a great question. Usually, if you've got a gas well on a large property, you'd typically be looking to sell that natural gas to a utility or an energy company. Most of the time, the gas gets fed into a pipeline and then distributed for commercial or residential use elsewhere. Now, technically, you could use some of it on the property if you had the infrastructure,
Okay,
like if you had a large operation or equipment that could run on natural gas. But for most landowners, it's a lot more common and practical to just sell the extracted gas to a buyer who handles the distribution. It's simpler and you get paid for the resource without needing to use it all on site.
Okay.
A creek,
Okay.
2 creeks, 13 ponds.
Oh wow, that's a lot of ponds. Are these natural ponds or?
It looked like it from the photos, although maybe some of them.
Yeah.
We'll see. We'll see if they mention
Okay.
further in the description.
Okay. You moved up. What are the other tags?
Hardwood,
Hardwood, timber.
timber.
Okay.
Okay.
So it has timber value. That's what it's implying, or?
That's what it's implying.
But hardwood, we learned that hardwood is only used for specific items. Usually it's the softwood, pine trees, that is used in house framing and building houses.
But
I got
hardwood
it right?
hardwood can have a very high value because depending on the tree species, it can create very valuable finishes.
For
It can be like luxury,
specialty.
like cabinetry, sort of moldings, flooring.
Right. But you would do it, like you wouldn't use it on a regular house. You would use it if you're designing custom or it's an upgrade.
You wouldn't use it for like the stud structure of a house,
Right.
but you could use it for, it is higher value. So it'd be like higher. That's why
This
you
is like
see
a
listings
custom.
that say hardwood floors. That's like a
Because
more
it's more
luxury
expensive
product
and it's
than-
like an upgrade.
yeah.
Okay. All right. So hardwood. So does it sell for more?
We should check with ChatGPT. I think it does.
ChatGPT.
Juniper.
I think
I
you're
think-
insulting Juniper.
I think it does sell for more.
Juniper, does hardwood trees, timber coming out of hardwood trees, does it sell for more than, say, standard softwood trees like pine trees?
It probably depends on the species.
Yeah, generally speaking, hardwood timber does tend to sell for more than softwood timber. Hardwoods come from trees like oak, maple, or walnut, and they're often denser and more durable, which makes them really popular for high quality furniture, flooring, and cabinetry. That kind of demand usually drives the price up. Softwoods like pine or spruce are more commonly used in general construction, like framing houses or making plywood, and they're usually a bit less expensive because they're faster growing and more abundant. So in short, yes, hardwood timber typically does fetch a higher price than softwood.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So brimming with character and boundless potential. Are you going to make a bet whether they say grandeur?
Grandeur.
Since the
They'll say grandeur.
1900s.
I think we should start using grandeur in
We should.
every listing.
Yeah.
Then it won't be as grand though if you use it in every listing. Okay.
It has been a working ranch since the early 1900s and has taken advantage of government programs aimed at enhancing the land for both cattle and wildlife. Well, yeah, those are all the photos of the feeders, and probably some of the ponds may then have been put in as water sources.
For wildlife?
Yeah, for both wildlife and cattle.
Okay.
So this is a property for anyone passionate about ranching, hunting, and preservation.
Okay.
It does look like they've really taken care of the land from the photos. So there's a historic ranch home. Yeah, I was going to say that home looks very old.
Can you show the home again?
Like historic almost ranch house.
I think I was distracted when you were showing the photos.
It almost looked like too that they've kept some of the older or original, maybe not original, but older
This?
appliances.
This?
Yeah.
Hardwood?
That definitely looks like a hardwood floor because it has the shine.
Oh, it's shiny
Yeah, you have to finish it so it doesn't get damaged.
because it's expensive.
Yeah.
So the shine, you can put the shine on the softwood? You can.
You can it's like a finishing coat, like a varnish or a paint.
But you usually put it on hardwood is what you're saying. Okay.
I mean, you wouldn't put it on like framing lumber because that's just going to be, put into the interior of the walls.
Okay. So what were you saying about the house?
It just looks like an older farmhouse. I was thinking like it looks like it's been there since 1940s, maybe.
Before the robbery.
When was the robbery?
1927, I think. Yeah, keep going. I'll look it up.
Right. So it's a 2-bedroom,
1927.
1 bath
Yeah.
house with vintage kitchen. I was going to say it looked like they kept.
Yeah.
Very... And then there is a living area that can be an additional bedroom. They have a barn and a barn dominium, a modern barn dominium.
Barn dominium is converted to a house, living space.
Well, barn dominium, remember we looked at it before. They're
It's
kind of like homes that are built almost like one large multi-purpose room. You can divide them up inside, but
you could just.
see.
But it was originally used for like storage.
No, a barn dominium.
No barn. Like
Oh, the barn. Yeah, they're saying
it was
it's
converted to a living space, right?
No, they're saying there's a barn, and then I think there's a separate barn dominium.
Or they built it on purpose because it's goes with the property.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah,
like
they're
converting.
saying there's a barn, an old barn, and
Right.
then they created a new barn dominium.
Right. No, but
Yeah.
what I am saying is you could theoretically convert an old barn into a living space, and then that will also be a barn dominium.
Yeah, you could, depending on the condition of the barn. A lot of
Right.
barns weren't really built.
So this
To
is more
be-
like a stylish thing. Like it's in vogue, so I'm gonna create a barn dominium because it goes with the character of the property.
Yeah.
Like if you put like a modern glass
Yeah, that would not.
house, that wouldn't go with the
No,
property,
right.
even though it will look cool. Right? It will change the character of the property. Right?
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so there are also stunning elevations, deep creeks, and an abundance of hardwood trees. Front portion is 580 acres on a plateau with extensive cultivation and the majority of the ponds.
Is the word grandeur coming soon?
We'll see.
Okay.
Some of the fields have mesquite regrowth that can be revitalized, while others simply need mowing.
Mesquite
It's a kind of tree.
regrowth, vitalized. Why? Revitalized. Why?
You'd have to remove the mesquite trees too.
Juniper,
Plant.
what's special about mesquite trees?
Well, mesquite trees are definitely interesting characters in the plant world, especially in places like Texas and the Southwest. One of the big things that makes them special is how hardy they are. They thrive in really dry, tough conditions and can handle drought like champs. They're also known for their really distinctive wood, which is super dense and has a beautiful grain. So it's popular for making furniture and even for barbecue smoking because it adds a nice flavor. Plus, mesquite trees have these long roots that can help prevent erosion, and they've historically been used by indigenous people for food and medicine. So they're tough, versatile, and kind of iconic in the regions where they grow.
Okay. All right. What else?
So there are also woods of mesquite and oak trees. Then there's a drop of 70 feet into the wildlife section of the property. And at the bottom of that drop is Live Oak Creek.
Okay.
that turns into Big Sandy Creek.
Okay.
There's wet weather fishing there.
Wet weather fishing. What does that mean? Wet weather fishing.
Like fishing during the rainy season.
Juniper, what does wet weather fishing mean?
So wet weather fishing is pretty much what it sounds like. Fishing when it's raining or when the weather is wet. Some anglers actually love fishing in the rain because certain fish can become more active or come closer to the surface when it's cloudy or the water's a bit stirred up. Rain can also wash insects and other food into the water, which can attract fish. So it's just a term for heading out and fishing in rainy conditions. And for some people, it can actually be a pretty good time to catch fish.
Wait, why do the fish come? You said it comes on the top, comes to the top when it's raining?
Yeah, so when it's raining, fish often come closer to the surface or get more active for a few reasons. One big reason is that the rain can cool down the surface of the water, especially on a hot day, and fish might find that more comfortable and come up to enjoy it. Another reason is that rain can wash insects and other food into the water, making the surface kind of like a buffet line for fish. The rain can also oxygenate the water a bit, which makes the fish more active. So all in all, the rain just creates a more inviting environment at the surface and can get fish to come up and feed.
But isn't it dangerous for the anglers? Like if it's like raining, like a storm, thunderstorms, all that kind of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. If we're talking about just a light rain, a lot of anglers will fish through that. But if it turns into a full-blown storm or there's thunder and lightning, then yeah, that can definitely get dangerous. It's always important to put safety first. If there's lightning, you definitely want to get off the water because being out there with a fishing rod can be risky. So a little rain can be good for fishing, but once it gets stormy, it's definitely smarter to pack it up and stay safe.
Okay.
All right. So let's
Safety
wrap
first,
up.
Erica.
Yeah. Let's wrap up the description so we can get to the meat because we're down to
Meat. No pun intended. We just talked about fish, Erica.
Yeah.
And now you want to get to the meat? And you're a vegetarian. You're a vegetarian city girl, Erica.
You're not supposed to
And we're,
highlight that.
why not? Oh, because you're highlighting a Texas property?
Yeah.
I think we already lost our Texas
Yeah.
viewers at this point.
So there are over 8 miles of roads and trails that traverse through the ranch. It has very minimal oil and gas production, but there are 2 gas wells and an injection well.
Very minimal.
Yeah, maybe they're not doing much with them right now.
That's a odd thing to
Yeah.
highlight.
It is. Well,
Or they're just trying to be
trying to-
transparent.
yeah.
Okay.
They're willing to convey their mineral rights for a reasonable offer, so it sounds like it doesn't come baked into this price. They'll also convey the wind rights.
Wait, why do you need wind rights separately? It's not like a high rise or anything on the building. Juniper, why would you need wind rights on a Texas property?
Well, in Texas, wind rights are basically the legal rights to harness the wind that blows over a piece of property.
Like a wind
It's kind
turbine.
of like mineral rights or water rights, but instead of oil or gas, you're talking about the wind. So if you have wind rights, you can potentially lease
Do you
out your
not
property
automatically
to a
have that
company
in
that wants to put up
Texas?
wind turbines and
I
generate
thought you could
electricity.
just
It can be a nice way for landowners to get some extra income if their property's in a windy area that's good for
But
wind
it could be
energy. So
separated,
basically,
right?
you'd need wind rights if you want to have the option to profit from wind power on your land.
Usually the wind rights come with a property, right? Or is it, are you saying in cases when it's severed because the owner sold it for like a leasing situation?
Yeah, you're exactly on the right track. Typically, wind rights do come with the property by default, just like any other surface rights. But in some cases, those rights can be severed or sold separately. So if the previous owner decided to lease out or sell the wind rights to a wind energy company, then those rights could be separated from the land ownership. In that case, a new buyer wouldn't automatically get the wind
All right,
rights.
I see.
So generally, they come
So
with
why
the
would
property,
they wanna
but it
hold
depends on
on
whether
to
they
it?
were sold off or
Looks
leased
like.
out separately
Yeah.
in the past.
unless you pay.
Unless you pay extra.
Yeah.
Okay. Upsell.
up. So
All right. I see how you're playing it, owner.
they do have some details on the 2 structures.
Wait, what did it
Oh,
say
it is
about?
built 1945.
Can you go up a little bit?
Yeah.
What did it say about wind rights again?
All it said was, we'll also convey all the wind rights.
For a reasonable offer.
Actually, this sentence is structured weirdly to me. I'm not sure if they're saying they will
It
convey.
says for reasonable offer and will also convey. Yeah, so it's
that
implying.
that could also mean, that could either mean
No.
when you pay for the mineral rights, you also get the wind rights, or they're
Oh, I see what you're saying. But it's not free, is what the point is. Hold on. This offering provides the next owner with greater control and a reassuring outlook for the future. Okay. Agent comments.
I think this doesn't.
The
add
word
much.
grandeur was not
No.
used. I think we should dock half a point for that. Okay.
All right. So I was right. The structure was built in the 40s.
What do you mean? You guessed it just by looking at the photos? Mm-hmm. All right. Okay, hold on. I have a brand new soundtrack right off the oven for this, Erica.
Right out of the oven.
Right out of the oven. It was baking.
Oh man, we're down to 9 minutes. We haven't even gotten.
Wait. You hold on.
I should say, anyone who's joining live, if you have a property you would like us to review,
You let me.
You win, man.
You just said, "Oh man." All right, fine. Yeah, anyone wants us to review, put it on the chat. All right, let's go.
okay. So it does have the original wood floors, hardwood, vintage kitchen, screen front porch, carport, central. Oh, they did put in central HVAC.
HVAC.
Yes.
HVAC. City girl. All right.
There is water and electricity. I should check if it's septic.
Furniture will convey. So the furniture comes with it. Okay.
There's also the barn dominium. They just built that.
No, it's been 7 years. They just built it last month, Erica.
There's mini split in each room. And
It's a lot of detail.
yeah, a lot of detail.
That's good.
Fencing. So they have fencing in over 6 miles. Corrals.
Corrals is like a enforcing or like a fencing
Yeah.
for the cattle
Yeah.
or for the livestock or for both.
In this case, it sounds like cattle. You know,
Juniper, corrals are for cattle or for livestock?
use it for horses too.
Yeah, exactly. Corrals are basically enclosures or pens that are used to keep livestock like cattle, horses, or other animals. They're really common on ranches or farms, especially in areas like Texas where you've got a lot of cattle ranching. So yeah, corrals are definitely for
Cattle
livestock
ranching.
and they help keep the animals
What does that
contained,
mean?
organized, and safe.
Raising cattle.
What do you mean by cattle ranching? What does that word mean?
Absolutely. So cattle ranching is basically the business or practice of raising cattle, usually for producing beef or sometimes dairy products. It's a big part of agriculture and farming, especially in places like Texas, where there's a lot of open land. Ranchers will manage herds of cattle, take care of them, and eventually sell them for meat or other products. So in short, cattle ranching is just the whole process of raising and managing cattle on a ranch.
So when you're raising cattle, is there a specific term when you are raising cattle just for dairy products versus raising cattle for meat?
Yeah, absolutely. There is a bit of a distinction. When you're raising cattle specifically for dairy products like milk, cheese, and so on, that's generally called dairy farming or dairy ranching. You'd be dealing with dairy breeds of cattle like Holsteins or Jerseys, and the focus is on milk production. On the other hand, if you're raising cattle for meat, that's typically just called beef cattle ranching or beef farming. So it's basically the same general idea of raising cattle, but the term dairy farming is used when it's specifically for dairy production, and beef ranching or beef farming is used when it's for meat.
Okay. So do we know what kind of ranching it is?
Generally, ranches would
Both?
be beef cattle.
Oh, by default?
Yeah, usually that's what you think of when you think of a ranch.
Oh,
Because
really?
a ranch is typically a place where you're grazing. It doesn't have to be cattle, but you're
Yeah.
grazing livestock over kind of larger areas.
Right. So why can't it just be for milk products?
Those are usually a little more contained. But
Oh, as in you don't need as much space.
I could be wrong
Juniper,
with that.
does dairy farming
But they have pastures
Da-
on dairy farm.
require less space than meat farming?
It can, yeah. Dairy farming sometimes can be done on less land than beef cattle ranching because the setup is a bit different. With dairy cows, you often have them in a more confined area, like barns or milking parlors, and they might have pasture, but not necessarily as much wide open space as beef cattle, which are often raised on larger open ranges. Beef cattle typically need more room to roam and graze, so in general, dairy farming can sometimes be done on a smaller footprint.
Why does it
really
need
depends
more?
on the
It's the
operation
same
and how they're
cattle.
set up.
Wait, Juniper, can you help me understand why do you need more space if it's the same cattle?
Yeah, definitely. So the main difference is really in how the cattle are managed and what they need to do. For beef cattle, they're usually raised to grow out to a certain size and weight, and that often involves them grazing on pasture land over a larger area.
Oh,
They
just
need
because
that
of the
extra
grazing
space to
land.
move around and forage because they're essentially growing bigger for meat production. On the other hand, dairy cow have a different daily routine. They're milked regularly, often multiple times a day, and they might not need as much space to roam because they're housed closer to the docking facilities. So while they do have pasture, it's often a more managed environment and they don't need quite as much open range. So it really comes down to the different needs of the two types of cattle.
Okay, so essentially you don't want the cattle to be like big, muscular, and strong.
Well, also you're milking them multiple times a day, so you don't want them like ranging
because
far and wide.
it's not like you can just
yeah.
text the cattle.
Yeah.
Cattle, come back.
Yeah.
Right? You'll have to like herd them back, and that takes time. So it's more efficient.
Yeah. And yeah, you're also not raising them to be as big and
Right.
muscular.
Right. So it would be much easier if the cattle could text back. Then you can just text each other. Are you ready for milk? Oh yeah, be there in 5. No?
Yeah.
All right. Okay.
All right. So there is equipment, but the equipment is negotiable. There are some.
Are they like retiring? It seems like they're selling everything.
Yeah, it does. It seems like it. And then there are the ponds and the creeks they talked about.
Okay, I think we need to
water
speed it up. We're burned a lot of time.
Yeah. Wow. They do have a lot of information here.
Yeah, I think they must be like retiring or
Yeah.
something. Only 8 days on Zillow, 200
So they
views.
are saying the wind rights convey. That's what I was saying. That sentence
yeah,
earlier
it's
was
just confusing. Yeah.
So
wind rights convey, but the mineral rights, they
With
also want
an
to
offer.
convey, but they want us to pay more.
yeah.
Okay. All right, owner. I see what you're doing.
Oh, it's only been 8 days.
Owner is upselling. All right, owner. Smart move. Okay. 203 views, 26 saves. More than 10%. That's good. Okay. All right. Anything else? We have the virtual tour, or is this like can you go up, down, virtual tour? Or is it just like images? Like
Usually
a
it just-
fake virtual tour? Oh, it's not even
well,
open. Okay, fine. It's fake link.
And
Wait, what does it
there's
say?
No
Oh,
price.
is price per square feet? Okay, whatever. Why is it giving price per square feet? All right, let's
yeah, I
look
don't
it
know
up.
why it did that.
Let's
but-
look it up. All right, you want me to play some music while you pull it
No,
up?
I have it.
But I have new music.
Okay, you can play your music.
All right, fine. You found it. Well, I'll save the music for next time when we need it.
Although this is only 320 acres.
All right,
so-
music coming up. I could have played it earlier, Erica, if you didn't. It was a fake out.
Some of these might be under different names.
Okay, let's select.
Because
Let's start selecting. No, you don't know
Well-
where it is?
Well, let's just make sure 13.
Do you even know if it's the right property?
Maybe it's not. Let's try again. Yeah.
I mean, that's the same one on the left,
Yeah, that's not going to be the full acreage, but
but at least
That's 40
acres.
acres.
So it's already subdivided.
yeah, I'm
And
not
then
sure.
how much is this?
320. So we have 360
60,
out
360.
of-
But let's see around. What else is there around? Maybe down? No, left? Is that the same? No. trust.
Yeah, it looks like there's different owners.
Or they put it in a trust, most likely. Okay.
Did they give parcel numbers? They didn't, did they?
The one that you selected has a home on it? Does it have assessed value? Go down.
Assessed.
Property value. Go down. It'll tell you.
No, there.
It does. It does have a home. So maybe this is like the main one.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I mean, it's not like we're out of time.
Yeah.
All right. Let's look at this. So it's around here, right? So we know. Okay. Let's just look at this for now.
Okay.
No airport. Airports. Abstracts. That's new.
Yeah.
What is abstracts? Can you open that? What is that? What does that mean? Abstracts. Oh, is this giving you the number?
Yeah.
Like if you want to look it up
Yeah.
on records. Okay, fine.
It's not in a city. Where is the closest city? There's a little city over here. There's this
Yeah,
one.
no, you don't have to worry about annexation, right?
Yeah.
Okay. No easement.
Well, where's the creek? It must be this other property. Isn't that where the creek is?
Okay. It's
Because
fine.
yeah, they were talking about there's the drop off in the back. So yeah, I think this is the other property, and
Okay.
this is the flat one.
Okay. Okay. Fedland?
Nope.
No. No FEMA.
Yeah.
Oh, there's some FEMA.
Yeah, these
floodplain.
are the rivers. So yeah, this must be the part of it.
Yeah. But we don't know for sure because the ownership is not matching.
Yeah, but it
It's
sounds like
high
from the-
likely. Yeah, high likely. Aquifers, minor. No. Pipelines.
Yeah, they did
Ooh.
mention there was pipeline because they
Oh, that's
have
the
wells.
natural
Yeah.
gas well.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay. Railroads, no railroads. Soil overlay. Looks like more or less the similar two types of soils, right?
Yeah.
We'll look at it.
They're the.
So
Yeah, this is
that's
also
the-
where all the ponds are.
Oh, that's the 13 ponds. Although there's some ponds on the other one as well.
Yeah,
Okay.
looks like a seasonal stream here too.
Yeah. Dotted is seasonal. No transmission lines. Okay. Water district. Oh, there's a well. Did they mention water well, right?
They did.
Although this might not be their.
Yeah, I'm
We
not
don't
sure
know if it's
that-
their property. All right, let's keep moving.
Right, so
Wetlands.
yeah, they're.
I'm
the stream.
surprised they have so much information, but they didn't give the parcel numbers. Can you
Yeah.
go back? That's so weird. There's a parcel number section usually, right? Oh,
Yes. here.
wasn't there an APN? Go up. Go up. Okay, hold on. AP. Oh, that's API.
Yeah, these are for the
That's
wells.
for the production. What is API? Juniper, what does API stand for in terms of well production?
In the context of well production, API stands for the American Petroleum Institute. They're basically a big standards organization for the oil and natural gas industry. If you hear someone talk about an API number for a well, that's a unique identifier assigned to each oil or gas well in the United States. It helps keep track of wells and all their production data. So in short, API is all about standardizing and organizing information in the oil and gas world.
Did you know this? API, we have API in technology that's called Application Programmable Interface.
Yeah.
And this is like American Petroleum Institute. You didn't know that, right?
No, I didn't.
You learned so much, Erica.
Yes.
All right. So what did you find?
So actually, I'm realizing they didn't mention whether it's septic or public sewer. I'm guessing septic out here, but that should be clarified. Anyway, just looking at soils and
1 to 3% slopes. I mean, it's relatively flat.
yeah,
At least the one that we're looking at.
and pretty good
Yeah,
soils.
3 soil cap scores seem reasonable as well.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Should we do the comps? Mm-hmm. Do we know how the access road looks like? Or we ran out
It's
of time?
this
Or we
one.
don't even know if...
It's this one.
Oh, it's county road.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, fine. So it's
I
good.
mean, we can pull it up. here. Oh, you can't drop a guy.
You can drop a guy. What about dropping a gal?
But
Okay.
yeah, I mean, it's a county road. So.
Okay. All right. Let's keep moving.
All right, price per acre.
Price per acre. Juniper, can you do price per acre? It's 1196 acres for $5.7 million. You want to look at comps in the meantime?
And how would
Absolutely.
the
Let's break
wells
it down. If you
impact?
have 1,196 acres for 5.7 million, you just divide the total price by the number of acres. So that's $5,700,000 divided by 1,196 acres, which comes out to about $4,768 per acre. So roughly $4,768 an acre.
So how would 2 gas wells impact the valuation?
How would 2 gas wells on the property impact the valuation?
Yeah, so having 2 gas wells on the property can definitely have an impact on the valuation. In general, it can increase the value because those wells represent a potential
for
income
oil wells
stream.
and stuff.
If they're producing gas, then that means the property owner could be earning royalties or lease payments from an energy company, and that future revenue can make the land more valuable. Of course, the actual impact on value depends on things like how productive the wells are, the terms of any leases, and the current market for natural gas. But in general, having those wells can add a nice little boost to the property's overall valuation.
Okay. It's a non-disclosure state.
Yeah. And they are right there. It doesn't look like there are many larger acreage properties in the area, at least that are on the market.
In Cisco, Texas, properties over 500 acres, what's the usual price per acre for vacant land properties with maybe few structures on them? Wait, what did you say? Go wow?
I think they probably priced it pretty competitively based on this comp.
But this
So
does it
right
have?
now in Cisco, Texas, for large vacant properties over 500 acres with maybe a few structures, you're generally looking at something around the range of roughly $4,700 to $7,300 per acre. It does vary depending on things like the exact location and the land features, but that's the general ballpark right now.
Oh, so they did
Yeah. Because
price
this
it at a
one's,
lower.
this one's 655 acres. It does have a home on it, it sounds like. So it's somewhat comparable. And this was the price it at least went under
Contingent.
under
Juniper,
contingency.
can you do
And
price per acre? 3.9 million for 655 acres.
Absolutely. Let's do the math on that. If you've got $3.9 million for 655 acres, you just divide 3,900,000 by 655 acres. That comes out to roughly $5,954 per acre.
Yeah,
so about
so it is-
$5,954
All right,
per
it
acre.
is priced
the ballpark
competitively.
figure.
So maybe they're like retiring and they were
yeah,
like,
it seems like they're not necessarily anxious to sell, but they are.
priced
so
competitively.
priced
Although it is
competitively.
1,100 acres, so as you go
Yeah,
up in
it would be
acreage,
a-
so maybe it is priced
Yeah.
just right. All right, let's go to the land score. All right, so we are looking at location. It is few hours. How it's not
We
that
didn't-
far out, right?
We didn't look at time to.
But it
let's
has
see.
an interesting Santa Claus history.
I mean, it is a rural property.
I mean,
But-
if you need 1,100 acres, you're not gonna find it.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Very
if
close
you
to the
want
city.
if you want a large ranch, it's going to be
Yeah.
some distance from a major city.
Juniper, how far is Cisco, Texas from Fort Worth? Why did you change the screen?
It's not loading for some.
So Cisco, Texas is roughly about 106 to 110 miles away from
2
Fort
hours.
Worth. And usually takes around an hour and a half to drive there,
Oh, hour and
depending
a
on
half.
traffic and which route you take.
Okay. All right. So location, I think, is good. It has county road, and
Well, that's under access.
right, but it's
But-
still county roads don't go into like super rural, right? Then it becomes dirt roads. Okay, so 2.5. Yes.
Okay.
Access, solid access, 2.5. Natural features, I mean, lots of ponds, everything going on, views, 2.5. Development, it already has houses and stuff. Flood zone, you want to dock some points for flood zone, or is it just following the
Yeah,
river?
but that's in the back. So I mean, there's a fair amount of, I think, decent area on this parcel. And those homes are older. Well, not the barn dominium, but the main home is older. So you could put in something.
Okay. So you want to
Bigger.
dock some points for location instead?
Yeah.
Or do you want to...
Yeah, I might not give the location 2.5.
Okay. So let's give development 2.5 then, right? So that's fair?
Okay.
All right. So what's the total price, Erica? Total
Right.
score. Let's do the drum roll. 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
Solid property.
Solid property. Seems
You
like
make
a
an
good
offer?
property. Yeah.
All
Want to
right.
get into ranching? Seems like
Ranching. I want to get into dairy ranching.
yeah.
You know why, right?
Why?
You need less space. You're a city girl. It's all about saving space.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep moving.
I mean, one question I think we'd want to ask is if they have been, sounds like they were actively ranching it, but what did that mean? Like, what was the income they were producing?
Juniper, what can you expect from a 1,200-acre property in Cisco, Texas, in terms of income or revenue for cattle ranching?
Yeah, so with a 1,200-acre property in Cisco, Texas, the income from cattle ranching can vary quite a bit depending on a bunch of factors. Things like how many cattle you're running, what breed they are, the current market prices for beef, and your operating costs all play a role. As a rough ballpark, a 1,200-acre ranch could typically support a decent-sized herd, maybe somewhere around 100 to 150 head of cattle, depending on how intensively you manage it. If you're selling calves or stocker cattle, you might see annual revenues in the range of a few $100s per head per year. So that could add up to tens of thousands of dollars annually, maybe into the low six figures if everything's running smoothly. But of course, that's just a general estimate, and the actual numbers can vary based on all those local and operational details.
Wait, so if you're doing cattle ranching, is it assumed that it's a meat, like beef ranching, not dairy ranching, or they might do both?
Yeah, that's a good question. Typically, when someone says cattle ranching, especially in a place like Texas, it's often assumed they're talking about beef cattle ranching rather than dairy. Beef ranching is pretty common in large urban areas like that. Dairy farming is usually more associated with specific dairy farms that have the infrastructure for milking and processing milk. But technically, you could do both on the same property if you wanted to. It's just that when people say cattle ranching in general, they're usually referring to raising cattle for beef.
Wouldn't you make more revenue if you're doing both, or is it the cost complexity won't allow that?
Milk dairy farming
Yeah, that's a
requires
great point.
a lot
In
of
theory, if you were doing
equipment.
both beef and dairy on the same property, you could potentially have multiple revenue streams. But the challenge is that each type of operation has its own complexities and costs. Dairy farming requires a whole different set of infrastructure, like milking equipment, storage for milk, and you need to manage the
But
herd
nowadays,
differently.
aren't people
Plus,
moving
you'd
to
have
like
different
soy
feeding
milk
and
and
care
stuff?
requirements. So while it's possible to do both and maybe
Only,
increase your overall revenue,
On the
it
city
can also
people?
be a
Only
lot more
city people.
complicated and costly to manage
Bougie
both at the
city
same time.
people.
Most ranchers tend to specialize in one or the other, just to keep things simpler and more efficient. But if you had the resources and wanted to diversify, it's something you could look into.
With all the new quote unquote milk products like soy milk and almond milk and fancy vegan milk, is the demand for real milk going down in the US?
Yeah, that's a really interesting trend. In the US, there has been a noticeable shift over the past few years. The demand for traditional dairy milk has been gradually declining as more people turn to plant-based alternatives like almond milk, soy milk, oat milk, and all those other vegan options. A lot of that shift comes from people looking for different dietary choices, whether it's for health reasons, environmental concerns, or just personal preference. So yeah, the overall demand for traditional cow's milk has been going down a bit, while plant-based milk alternatives have been on the rise. It's definitely changed the landscape for dairy farmers and the dairy industry overall.
There
So
was a
it's-
push to say you can't label the plant-based milks as milk.
Yeah.
Except for-
So it's mostly the city folks to be blamed, right? The vegan city folks, mostly.
Well,
looking at
it's
me?
definitely true that a lot of the demand for plant-based milks comes from urban areas where people might be more into those dietary trends. And yeah, maybe a bit of that vegan or health-conscious crowd tends to be more city-based. But I wouldn't necessarily say it's about blame. It's more about changing consumer preferences. People everywhere are getting more interested in different food options for all sorts of reasons. So it's not just city folks driving the trend, even if they're a big part of it. It's just the market evolving and people having more choices these days.
Okay, so we have lost like one person who was left from Texas. They're like, all right, that's it. That was the last straw. All right, let's keep moving, Erica.
All right. So we are not actually affiliated with that property. We're looking at it just for educational purposes, but we do sell land. And actually, we specialize in affordable land.
So not cattle ranching?
No, we it would be nice to have a few
Refresh.
like large ranches, but no, we specialize in properties that are generally under 30K, always under 100K. So properties that are for building a home, mobile home, smaller recreational lots, or just lots for first-time home buyers or investors looking for a relatively inexpensive property to put in their portfolio. And we do work throughout the entire US. We're also not real estate agents. So all of the properties that we're selling are properties we own, which means that we can offer owner financing on almost all of them to make them even more affordable. So you can find all of our properties at land.gokept.com. We do work throughout the entire US. The available properties are the red pins. But if you don't see a property in your area of interest, you can always sign up for text alerts. And this way you'll get an alert whenever we post a property in your state of interest, so you can be the first to know. Also, if you're really into affordable land, we are running a free land giveaway promotion right now to get the word out about our company. So we'll be giving away a free property live at 2 p.m. Eastern on January 1st. You can find all the details on our YouTube homepage. Just search Gokche Capital and go down to the free land giveaway promotion to learn how to participate. All right, so now we'll do the land buying tip of the day, but quickly, and I do need to reorganize that slide. Very quickly, we are live daily at 5 p.m. Eastern. We do property reviews. So if you're in the market for land, you're looking at a couple different properties, you would like a second opinion, or you'd like us to review it for free, join any day at 5 p.m. Eastern and leave your property in the chat. Otherwise, join us to look at interesting properties. And of course, if you're in the market for land, all of our properties are at land.gokept.com. And you can book a call to ask questions about any properties or owner financing or the process at book.gokept.com.
Yeah, I think we can get rid of this slide and just make it about submit your property for review.
Yeah.
Because we already have land.gokept.com here now.
Yeah, that's true.
So I think we shouldn't confuse audience with like
Okay.
book.gokept.com. All right. So we have the final segment. Can you go back to the tip, land buying tip of the day, right?
Mm-hmm.
The most exciting segment, Erica, right?
Yep.
For you. Okay. So Juniper, give us the land buying tip of the day. Keep it short, keep it sassy, and make sure it's advanced tip, not a standard stuff on the internet that anyone can find.
All right, you got it. Here's a quick and sassy advanced land buying tip. When you're scouting a piece of land, don't just look at the zoning. Dig into the future zoning changes or planned infrastructure upgrades in the area. That's where the gold is. If you know a new road or a zoning reclass is coming in 2 years, you're ahead of the game and you're buying future value at today's price. So always peek at the future map.
Any tips related to people who might be interested in buying a cattle ranch?
Absolutely. If you're eyeing a cattle ranch, here's a pro tip. Focus on water sources. Don't just count the acres of pasture. Make sure you've got reliable water supply for your herd. Whether it's a natural spring, a well, or a dependable
I think we
creek,
should keep
water
it
access is
specific to
king.
the
A
property.
ranch
Yeah,
with
that's a
strong
good
water
idea.
resources isn't just more sustainable, it's more valuable and gives you way more flexibility. So always think water first.
Juniper, if someone has like a large property in Texas and they're trying to start cattle ranching from zero, from scratch, how much would it cost? Like just a ballpark number.
Yeah, absolutely. Starting a cattle ranch from scratch on a large Texas property is definitely a big investment. As a ballpark figure, you could be looking at anywhere from a few $100,000 to well over $1 million, depending on the scale. You'd have to consider the cost of the cattle themselves, which can be tens of thousands just to get a starter herd. Then you have fencing, equipment, barns or shelters, water systems and feed, plus any infrastructure upgrades you might need. So yeah, it's a pretty big upfront investment, and the exact number can vary a lot, but definitely think in the hundreds of thousands to get started on a good-sized cattle ranch.
Usually, is it easy to get a loan for something like this?
Yeah, you can definitely get loans for starting a cattle ranch or buying agricultural land. Lenders do offer agricultural loans or farm loans specifically for these kinds of operations. It's pretty common, and there are banks and even government programs like those through the USDA, but are designed to help farmers and ranchers get started. Of course, just like with any loan, you'll need to have a solid business plan, a good credit history, and probably some collateral. But overall, it's definitely something that's doable, and there are loan options out there specifically for agricultural ventures like this.
Okay. All right. Good information. All right. Now you can do the CTA screen.
All right. So, yep. Again, please join us 5 p.m. Eastern. We'll be live again tomorrow, and we'll be looking at more interesting properties like this one. And of course, if you're in the market for land, check out all our properties at land.gocap.com.
See